In this advanced rigging tutorial, we will be having a look at how to position your joints so that we can start rigging our character. Now, the first step is going to be to obviously have all of the steps done so far. You need to have your character's quarter front view and front view. I have them both traced and painted. Now, I'm going to start off with my quarter front view and select the arm. I can press O on either the timeline view or the network view to center on my selection. Now, as you can see right now, in both the forearm and the hand, I have nothing whatsoever, so I have only my empty drawing cells. So I'm going to go to the arm, and from here, I'm going to go right under my line tool. I have a tool here called the ellipse tool. I'm going to select this one, and from my palette, I'm going to select my line. Now, what I want to be doing is creating all of the places where my character's joints are going to be pivoting. For instance, I'm going to have one on the elbow, I'm going to have one on the wrist, and I'm going to have one at the shoulder level. So now that I have my ellipse tool, this actually functions the same as the pencil tool. It creates a central vector line that I can connect to my pencil line. So first of all, in my tool properties, you can see that I can actually select the size of my circle. So I want it to be about the same size as the line that I have for my arm. So if I select my arm here, I'm able to see that I have a line that is size 7. So I'm going to go back to my ellipse tool and I'm going to change that to 7. And now if you hold down Shift while creating your circle, it's going to stay perfectly even. While if I let go, I can actually come and change its shape. But for this, we really want to have it a perfect circle so that we can throw our pivot point in the center of that circle and make sure that the articulation rotates around that perfect centered point. So I'm going to create the circle, and with my select tool, I'm going to come and reposition it to be about exactly at the junction of my line. Now, the way I can make sure that this is positioned properly is I'm going to turn on my show strokes mode, pressing K, and now I'm able to see that I have my line that is not quite connecting. If you want to have a better view of it, you can actually come and remove the color that we've positioned in the circle, and now you can see that I get those yellow dots right there that I don't necessarily want to get. So I'm going to come and make my circle a little bit bigger. And you see those two blue dots that appeared? This means that my lines are connecting together. Now I still get the yellow dot, but we can remove that since our lines are connecting. And this one isn't connecting just yet, but we're gonna modify it a little bit to come and join into our circle. So I can just grab that, make sure that it's as close as possible to what I had before. And as you can see, I can't really snap to my circle at the moment, so I'm going to turn on the snap to contour from my tool properties and just come and connect that to my line. Now at this point, since I had line thickness, I may want to remove that using my my tools right here. I'm just going to make it a flat circle, and then I'm going to start doing other junctions. Now I have a second circle that I'm going to come and position where the elbow is going to be. Ideally, you don't want that circle to connect with other lines because this is going to be the junction of your elbow. So if it pivots, you don't want it to interfere with anything else. So I want to make sure that it's under this line right here. So that could be one of the things that gets tricky with certain rigs that you have to do. You may have to come up with some more complex systems depending on just where the sleeve ends. But for this guy, we won't have to worry too much about that. So just make sure that the line connects on both ends of your line. I can make that a little bit smaller maybe. And then you can position it with the arrows and just make sure that it's where you want your line to connect for the rotation at the elbow. And I can copy paste this circle right here to go and create my wrist. I'm going to turn off the snap to contour just to have a little bit more freedom on where I want to position it. Also try not to have both your junctions connecting. It tends to work better and more efficiently if you have them distinct from each other. And now I have my circle connecting over on this side and on this side as well. So for now I'm just going to leave it like that. In the next step we'll be seeing how we're going to separate these different layers and position our pivot points. Now you just need to make sure that you do the same thing for your other arms, meaning this one as well as both of your arms over on the front view. And we can also do the same on the leg. I'm gonna remove the color and I'm gonna come and create a circle that will be used for my pivot point. Again, I want it to ideally not connect with any other line but this one. And I also want to try and keep it inside of the element of my torso for the leg, because if I have it here and I connect to this one, the pivot point is going to be at the center here. So if I select my entire leg and I rotate it, then I'm going to have this little chunk that I don't necessarily want in there. I want to have a nice smooth line that comes in all the way to the end, and I also want my pivot point to make sense inside the structure of my character. So I'm actually gonna move this a little bit higher, and I want the entire circle to be inside. So it doesn't matter if the line doesn't connect right away, we can actually fix that. So I'm going to go and get my contour editor, create a little point here, just so I keep the length and direction of my line. I'm going to create one using Control, and I'm going to come and pull this, turn on my magnet, and connect my line, just like that. I want to try and keep it as smooth as possible and keep the same direction as my circle, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I want to try and keep it the same, so just make sure that you pull on the right points. Make sure that you get no bumps, and you can tweak a little bit just to make sure that everything is okay. So now I have my leg, and I need to give him a knee. So I'm going to come and create another circle that is going to come about at this height. You want to make sure you don't put it too low or too high. And about here, both of my lines are connecting. Same thing here. And that looks about the height where my knee would be, so I'm going to leave it here. And you can do the same for the other leg as well. For now, we're all keeping it on just one layer, and in the next step, we will be seeing how to position everything and start separating our arms and legs.